Hello, good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Sight Candy for July 15th. We've made it halfway through the month. I love it. So good to see you guys. Deanna, Marilee, Stephanie, good to see you. Hope your week is going good. I hope you're planning something really awesome and amazing for yourself this weekend. I am so thankful that it's not 100 degrees in Georgia today. It's a little bit cooler. It's in the 70s. I can live with that. It's good stuff. Tuning in this week. This is part of, we've been talking about relationships all week. And this is going to continue a little bit into next week. But we're talking about relationships and how to gauge and rebalance our value systems. We come through a lot of things with our relationships, not just romantic, with our friendships, our relationship with our family, relationship with coworkers. And some of the things get damaged there is a lot of times our self-worth, trust, our self-awareness. And these are all really difficult points that we have to be very mindful about. And we spoke yesterday about, and the last 2 days are actually about dealing with some of the bad routines that we get built into. Sometimes the lying, the cheating, the deceptions. And that's what we're going to be talking about today is the impact of secrets and lies and how we have kind of transitioned and we use those in every relationship. And it's hard, isn't it? Yesterday I was talking to you about the trust factor. And when you've had trust broken, how hard is it to turn around and just trust somebody new? To throw that seed back in there, you know? That's hard. It's hard to trust. It's hard to let yourself become vulnerable again to somebody new. How many people do you know there's like, yeah, I don't trust anybody. I learned not to trust anybody. Well, that's a horrible position to be in because when you do that, now you're going to be operating from a position of less than. You're going to be entering relationships at 60% volume, rather than 100. I had to exercise my own little practice where this is concerned. And, when I meet somebody, I will choose to trust until you give me a reason not to trust. And that works for some people and not for everybody. But when we do that, you are rebuilding your capacity to be able to offer trust back out there. Now, I have people in my world. I trust them. I trust them 100%. And they trust me. Why? Because we earned it both ways. Trust is reciprocal. Respect is reciprocal. We have to, everybody has to kind of give into the pot, so to speak, in order to know what it is you're going to be getting back out. So let's just dive in here for a minute. But trust itself, trust is fragile. Secrets and lies jeopardize trust and can damage us and our relationships, and sometimes irreparably. We all tell those little white lies, right? We say, oh, I'm fine, when we're not. Compliment unwanted gifts, or even a fib that, oh, hey, the check's in the mail. But in an intimate relationship, emotional honesty includes allowing our partner to know who we are. Honesty is more than simply not lying. Deception includes making ambiguous or vague statements, telling half truths, manipulating information through emphasis or exaggeration or minimization, and withholding feelings or information that's important to someone who has a right to know because it affects the relationship and deprives that person of freedom of choice and informed action. Now, although we may consider ourselves honest, few of us reveal all our negative thoughts and feelings about, the people that we're close to. It requires courage to be vulnerable. So, what is the cost of secrets and lies? I mean, most people who lie worry about the risk of being honest, but give little thought to the risk of dishonesty. So, some of the ways in which lies and secrets cause harm, well, one, they block real intimacy with a partner. Intimacy is based on trust and authenticity. The ability to be vulnerable or quote unquote naked, as it were, not only physically, but also emotionally. Number two, they lead to cover up lies and omissions that can be hard to remember. And these mount up. And if the truth comes out, it may be more hurtful than the original secret. So the longer the truth is hidden, the greater becomes the hurdle of revelation. Because it would bring into question now every instance of cover up and all the times that the innocent partner relied upon the trusted person. See, now all of a sudden that truth comes out, and now they're like, wait a minute, this is now making sense. All right, wait a minute. What about this time? What about this time last year? What about this conversation we had 6 months ago? What about now? You start layering up, and the person that has been lied to is now starting to calculate all of these past events, question all of these promises, question all of these words. Well, what is that doing? Now, the person that lied, well, now they've created a bucket of toxic shit to weed through, to get through, to try to work through. It makes it much more difficult. The other thing is the secret holder feels guilty or at least uncomfortable during intimate moments with the deceived person. Closeness and certain topics tend to be avoided. Avoidance may not even be conscious and can, include things like being preoccupied with work, friends, hobbies, or even addictive behavior, doing activities that leave little opportunity for private conversations. The deceiver might even provoke an argument. Why? To create distance. Because, in other words, I'm just not opening that door. I'm going to avoid that door at all cost, no matter what. Number four is honesty is valued as a moral norm, although the context and specifics may differ among cultures. When we violate religious or cultural norms by hiding the truth, we experience anxiety generated by guilt. Despite our best efforts at hiding our physiological reaction is the basis for, well, that's the basis for electronic lie detectors. Number five is this violation of our values not only leads to guilt, it also affects our self concept, our self awareness. And over a long period, deception can eat away at our self esteem. Ordinary guilt that could be reversed with just honesty now becomes shame and undermines our fundamental sense of dignity and worthiness as a person. The gap between the self we show others and how we feel inside. Number six is our ways of managing guilt and shame create more problems. We hide not only the secret, but more of who we are. We might build resentments to justify our actions, withdraw, or become critical, irritable, aggressive. We rationalize our lie or secret to avoid the inner conflict and the danger we imagine awaits us if we were to come clean. Look, some people become obsessed with their lie. I mean, to the point that they have difficulty concentrating on anything else. Other people are able to compartmentalize their feelings or rationalize their actions to just better manage dishonesty. But see, now this builds that, this is that very destructive pattern, the very destructive rut. Because now what? You got to start maintaining the one lie to build another lie to cover that lie. You're trying to navigate everybody. Now you're trying to manipulate situations. Now it is such an unhealthy compounding and layering inside yourself. You're taking away from yourself. The person that's lying is taking away. And when you're being lied to, it's taking away from whatever the foundation is with that person. Compartmentalization and denying, rationalizing, what my partner doesn't know won't hurt him or her, or minimizing, I only did it once. These are physiological defenses that help us deal with inner conflict and an undesirable reality. They can be so effective that the liar is convinced that lying supports the relationship. He or she may not want to face the hurt or choices that the truth could precipitate. And eight, not surprisingly, beyond mental distress, you know, it's creating this new world basically that you have to live in, but it's a very dishonest world. It's a very emptying world. Lying leads to health complaints. When somebody's having to lie all the time, they're having to keep up with that. That's stressful. It's anxious. It's depressing. It affects your mood. It affects your energy. It affects how you deal with people, but it also affects how you deal with yourself. The victim of this may be react the avoidant behavior by angry, suspension, including needy. Again, and also may suffer. Symptoms become the loss of trust, rare own self-esteem. I can't even. The number is vast. If I were to go and look at, let's see, let me look at the last even 20 years of my practice and patients that I've worked with, and how many of those scenarios am I dealing with? Somebody lied to me, somebody deceived me, somebody broke my trust. If not more. And now today, society has become much more. We are much more of a society that it's okay to lie. It's okay to lie. I'm going to lie about this. It's small. It doesn't matter. But in my mind, it's boosting me somehow. Or covering something up. That we've made this okay now. How many people do you know, in even your social world, that you know for a fact they've been lied to or cheated on or had their trust broken and been hurt in some fashion because of something like this? Where is our internal value system to be a better human being and to treat others better so that we can operate from a position of care for other people? I don't know anybody that's going to come in and say, oh yeah, I enjoy being lied to. I enjoy being deceived. It's just the way it is. It's just the norm. Nobody for a minute. Take a little theory on how true others to know. Culture. Which is true. Cultures are changing time. Taboo are more story having a secret or only revealed without, and these revelations could be traumatic, yet also explain confusing, anomalies in a child's mind, right? But today, many families opt for open adoptions instead. It's starting to become something that's not hidden, tucked away. We have a right to information about our heritage, particularly for medical reasons or whatever else. And secrets about things such as addiction, criminality, mental illness can lead to real risks, along with chronic dysfunction. When children already know something's wrong, but denial undermines their self-trust and reality setting. A sexual relationship, we have a right to know our partner's intentions and fidelity for emotional as medical reasons. Often, faithful partners rationalize deny this need and their vulnerability to their emotional detriment. By not asking questions or expressing their needs, they enable and collude in deception for the same reason that the betrayer is dishonest or secretive, which is to not rock the boat and jeopardize the relationship. And when there's been betrayal, even if the couple stays together, seeds of distrust linger and sometimes poison that relationship. And guess what? When you break that trust, what's going to happen? Shit's going to fall apart. Now you got broken pieces laying everywhere that you're trying to put this back together. Being lied to and cheated on is one of the most difficult things that a romantic relationship can try to get past, to try to build past. And will there ever be truly 100% restoration in that trust? Chances are no. Now, I have seen couples work into being in a happier or in a functional relationship where they seem happy, but can they say they trust 100%? No. And that's hard. We have to think about that. Because our choices, our choices are going to have an impact, no matter what. Now, let me just say this. Like, on the other hand, we also have a right to privacy. Absolutely. I mean, even in the most intimate relationship, disclosure of conversations with our therapist, close friends, relatives, well, those can be discretionary to a point, right? But see, those are things that don't require that you're having to lie or be deceptive. It's just a matter of you may have discussed something that is personal to you, and that's okay. Again, that is not building the seed of lying and deception. So let's just say now we're looking at the aspect of when and how to reveal something. What, when, why, and how we disclose are all essential factors. The timing, impact, and our motives should be carefully considered. Full disclosure may be necessary to rebuild a broken marriage, right? People's self-esteem and high opinion of their partner are more likely to forgive him or her. Common sense, right? However, what are the compelling reasons to reveal an affair that's long over or a current one that we have no intention of ending? Well, in the first case, to deepen mutual intimacy. In the latter, is it to avoid it or prove divorce that we're afraid to initiate? Disclosing our dissatisfaction in a relationship might be the necessary conversation that, if communicated earlier, would have prevented the affair altogether. And I've spoken about this a lot. If you're in a relationship and you feel that you're not in love anymore, something's wrong. Your brain's drifting. You're starting to look at other people. Well, have enough respect, not only for yourself, but for the other person, to just sit them down and say, hey, this isn't working. I'm not in love anymore. And I don't want to hurt you. I want you happy. I want you to be able to go and be happy, and I'm going to go and be happy. And will that be an easy conversation? Hell no. But will it be honest? Yeah. Will it be you trying to at least maintain a little bit of integrity, some self-respect, self-awareness, and also offer the same to the other person? Yes. I mean, for everybody involved, the pain of the secrecy compounds the pain over the initial event. And the longer the deception continues, the more damaging it is to self-esteem. And ideally, before revealing the truth to the person we've lied to, it's helpful to have accepted our mistakes. Otherwise, our shame and guilt can be obstacles to just genuine empathy for the person that we've harmed. So first, talk to someone non-judgmental whom you trust, or seek counseling. If we've forgiven ourselves, we're in a better position to answer questions and face the anger and hurt feelings that we've caused. And that's another important step that a lot of people don't understand. It's like, if I lie to you and hurt you, and then I have to own it, well, there's going to be a consequence there. There's going to be a position where that person is going to be mad at me. They're going to be hurt. They might be devastated. And I have to be willing to sit there and receive that. Let them feel that. Let them talk through it. I mean, each case of betrayal is unique, right? The potential damage and complications that surround lying as well as disclosure are things to consider when telling lies and keeping secrets. Contemplation in advance about the consequences of our actions to ourselves, our loved ones, and our relationships require a degree of self-awareness, but if you do that, it can prevent unnecessary suffering. When the truth comes out, often it's enlightening. It can help the other person make sense of previously unexplained or confusing behavior. And at the same time, it can be devastating and traumatic to discover that the one we loved, the one we trusted, has betrayed us. It can shatter the image that we have of our partner, as well as our confidence in ourselves and even reality itself. And unfortunately, victims of betrayal frequently blame themselves. If the relationship wasn't working, both parties have a responsibility to speak up and address problems. And although it may be fruitful to examine our behavior in order to learn from it, we're never responsible for someone else's actions or omissions. And that's important to remember. There's a natural desire to seek explanations and to know more facts. Aggrieved partners begin to review details of prior events, as we were talking about earlier, and conversations, seeking overlooked clues and evidence of lies. They may painfully conclude that they and their partner have been living in two very different realities, which they once believed were shared. And if the relationship ends, both parties may suffer from the shame and blame and compounding grief. Now I'm wrapping up here, bear with me. So even if the relationship survives, there's loss when trust is broken. As with all losses, our first reaction is denial, if not of the facts, then of the severity of the impact. It may take time to accept the truth. And each of us will attribute a different meaning to the facts in order to heal and make peace with ourselves, our loved ones, and a disordered reality that we once thought was a safe place and a predictable place. We have evolved into sometimes not being as honest as we want. And I'm sorry, I'm seeing here that my audio is going in and out. I apologize, guys. I am wrapping up here, but I will have to go back and check that. But thank you for letting me know that. But guys, I hope you were able to pull something from this. And the thing is, pay attention to just our own actions, but also with those that we love. Build our foundation on honesty, truth, communication. Maintain your own position of self-awareness and, self-view, self-love, self-care. Treat others the way that you want to be treated, And if you have lied or deceived, own it. Own it, come clean, bring it to the surface, because I promise you, it will make a huge difference in the person that you are and our humanity as a society and just what we choose as our own value system. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. Stephanie, it's great seeing you. I haven't seen you in a hot minute. And Deanna, always good to see you. Everybody watching out in YouTube land, thank you for joining in. I invite you, please do not miss the Energy Garden artist sessions tomorrow, 2 o'clock p.m. right here on Fireside. I have the illustrious Michelle Lee. She is a Country Music Award winner. She is going to be with us talking about her songwriting and the exciting things that she has up, and she's going to be sharing some music with us. So please don't miss that tomorrow, 2 o'clock p.m. And until then, I hope you guys have a blessed, amazing, and wonderful rest of your Friday, and I hope you're doing something magical and wonderful for you this weekend. So until next time, guys, be happy, be healthy, and most importantly, be you. Cheers.